What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and you absolutely love to see when these woke corporations have their woke fans turn on them. You know, it's been a tried and true model that has been done by just about every major big corporation over the past few years, whether it was Gillette calling their customers toxic males, or Disney pumping out 13 straight films that all lost money, totaling nearly $1 billion in losses. Bud Light calling their customers fratty and outdated. The list goes on and on. One company that has continually courted far left extreme viewpoints, far left, has been Ben & Jerry's. Now, over the years, Ben & Jerry's have been absolutely destroyed for various woke takes, like their famous one, or most recently, they talked about how the United States was founded on stolen indigenous land this 4th of July. Let's commit to returning it. To which they wanted the statue, or the Mount Rushmore, to be given back. Of course, the community note, absolutely brutal. Despite Ben & Jerry's supposed commitment to returning land they feel was stolen, they have yet to reach out to the tribe whose land their headquarters is on and arrange a return of the land to them. These companies are all hypocrites. They endorse far left politicians, and they don't follow by the rules that they want to set for the plebes. Tim Young saying community notes for the win again. Dom says are Negroes included? Libby Evans, absolutely not. This is absolutely stupid and pandering nonsense. You know, Styx Hexenhammer, shout out, says the indigenous people spent thousands of years dispossessing one another of the semi-nomadic areas they generally occupied, regularly ending one another and enslaving other tribes. Your tweet is an example of the long discredited romanticist, quote, noble savage myth. This is like, you know, again, 5 times August. Sounds like it's time for Ben & Jerry's to donate 100% of their profits to indigenous people. Give all the people property back to the Native Americans right now, or shut up. Of course, last one with Shibatoshi Nakamoto saying, you're an effing ice cream company. Stop virtue signaling, you hypocritical phonies. This is the last tweet they made. In fact, I'm not sure they've tweeted anything since then. Nope. July 12th, they had a tweet about chocolate fudge brownie, in which they did not see very good results either, getting absolutely ratioed, saying, just stopping by to see if you've given your headquarters to indigenous Native Americans, back to the people you stole it from. So all of this kind of stuff, right? So this is the kind of stuff that Ben & Jerry's has been doing over the years. You know, their owners are extremely politically active, backing socialist candidates like Bernie Sanders. Well, now they have caught themselves in a pickle. Like very often, when you court far left ideology, sometimes you get some inconvenient things. Now, Ben & Jerry's, I believe, are both Jewish, I think. I don't know this for 100% fact, but I'm pretty sure they are. Ben & Jerry's, coincidentally, realized that, like many of these woke corporations, that, well, the same people that they've been courting hate them. Well, I mean, you know, I would say ultimately, Ben & Jerry's have got involved in this many times. They've spoken out before. I have confirmed they were, in fact, Jewish, because I think it's relevant, so I wanted to verify that. I had to pause. You know, they wanted to end the sale of their ice cream in occupied Palestinian territory. They put out this big thing. We believe it's inconsistent with our values of Ben & Jerry's to be sold in the occupied Palestinian territory. We also hear and recognize the concerns shared with us by our fans and trusted partners. Well, they actually lost this lawsuit, in fact. Or there was some sort of lawsuit about this, and so Ben & Jerry's is still being distributed there. So again, they did not follow through on what they virtue signaled. You know, and they say, like, what do you consider the occupied territory? We recognize the definition of the OPT as defined by the United Nations. So they've done this all this, you know, are you exiting Israel? Are you boycotting Israel? Is this part of a boycott? It says, although Ben & Jerry's will no longer be sold in the occupied area, we will stay in Israel through a different business arrangement. So they did nothing. They just virtue signaled, and their stuff was still for sale anyway. Well, they put out this on Instagram. They don't post to Twitter anymore because they get crushed there too often. We are deeply saddened. They were talking about what happened in Burlington, Vermont, where there were 3 Palestinian students who did not survive an incident. Hates against any community or any kind has no place in our home state or society. Our thoughts are with the 3 individuals and their families at this difficult time, blah, 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 blah. Well, how do you think the response went? Ben & Jerry's has been my favorite brand, not just because of the ice cream, but your stance on social issues have always been on the right side of history. But your silence on Gaza has been disheartening. But maybe we all know why. They haven't touched on the issue. That's a Jew thing, right? They're saying because they're Jewish. I assume that's what they are implying. I'm so sorry I can't speak out for the cause as I would like to. I remember in 2021 they spoke out, blah, blah, blah. Why do you refuse to talk about Gaza? Ben & Jerry's are appreciated. I love your factory in Israel. Actions speak louder than words. They just absolutely. Why is Palestine the only justice struggle that's off limits to y'all and every other so-called white progressive? I mean, everybody in this reply speak up about Palestine was the only reason I ever bought your ice cream was because I thought you guys supported Palestine. Why would they? I mean, they've done nothing. They've done nothing but issue empty platitudes and even made it into Newsweek. This is what happens when you court woke idiots. You have to accept 100% of their ideology 100% of the time, or they will abandon you. And that's exactly what they're doing. This is why it's such a dangerous game. This is why, what inspired Coffee Brand Coffee. I didn't want to get involved in this crap. It's why it's called Coffee Brand Coffee and not even liberal tiers or this, that, and the other thing. By the way, the 50% off sale is extended now, I guess, until we sell out of everything. So if you missed out on the Cyber Monday deal, I'd say it's a good time. I'll leave it linked in the description. Some of the stuff has already been selling out, but there's some good discounts, 40%, 30%, here's 50% off, 30%. All these flavors are 30% off. So now's a great time to stock up. Even our fall flavors are on sale at 20% off. Ben & Jerry's post on the incident that happened in Burlington, Vermont has caused an uproar on social media with followers asking why the ice cream brand hasn't taken a stance on the war. And in any normal world, like any normal existence, an ice cream company should not be having to have a stance on a war in a foreign land. Taking Instagram, Ben & Jerry's made the post, blah, 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 blah. We already saw that. However, followers were unhappy that Ben & Jerry's, a brand known for supporting progressive causes, has not revealed its stance on the conflict between Israel and Hamas. Well, quite frankly, you end up with just like the same. This is just like Ethan Klein. Like Ben & Jerry's is having their Ethan Klein, Hasan Piker moment right now. They're both progressive on all these issues. But then in this particular issue, look, Ethan Klein is Jewish. He's going to feel some kind of way about one side or the other. Ben & Jerry's are both Jewish. They're going to feel some kind of way about one side or the other. And now all the people that they've courted, right? All the people that they've virtue signaled these stupid idiots, right? Are now coming back to bite them in the rear end. This is what happens. Right, Ethan builds his career, rebuilds, he's rediscovered, he's reinvented himself many times, but in this latest version, he's a social democrat and a socialist democrat or whatever, and he's all woke on all these progressive causes, except one inconvenient truth is that many leftists, I'm not talking about a liberal, a run-of-the-mill liberal, right? Many leftists feel some kind of way about Jewish people, Zionism, Israel in general, and everything gets kind of mixed. Some people have nuanced takes, but there's also some genuine hate for their people in the progressive movement. You could see some of the things that elected officials, even in this country, say about Jewish people who are also very progressive. There is an interesting section of that community, the far leftists, the BLM types, the change your Instagram thing to a black square type people that while a lot of people in progressive media talk a lot about the far right and anti-Semitism, well, it's actually coming from the left. And you see, however, followers are unhappy that Ben & Jerry's has not spoke out. Why do you refuse to talk about Gaza? Instagram user said, you didn't say a GD effing thing about October 7th. So your commitment to love all and justice rings hollow. They're angering both sides here, right? The only reason I ever bought your ice cream is because I thought you guys supported Palestine. I'm so tired of these so-called allies who all of a sudden disappeared. We won't forget. Well, what have we been telling you idiots for years? Do you think Nike gave a crap about Black Lives Matter? No, Nike cares about making money. Ben & Jerry's is perhaps the most egregious of all the virtue signaling companies because they literally do nothing. They might throw some money around, but they don't change anything. They talk about poverty. They want to sell $8 for a pint of ice cream or $9 or whatever the heck they call. You see, however, one defended Ben & Jerry's as an ice cream company, not a political movement. Bull. I actually 100% disagree with that. This is the position. This is the bed that Ben & Jerry's made. It's the same bed that Ethan Klein made. The guy probably wishes he could go back to memeing on people on the internet, but he has positioned himself as some sort of political brand, and now he's stuck with it. And when you do that, especially with the left, and it also happens on the right too, but you're constantly going to be purity tested. And this conflict is revealing a lot of bad decisions. If only they would have just shut up and sold their overpriced ice cream, probably would have been a safer plan. But it's always fun for me to see happen. This is what happens when you court woke clowns. So let them languish. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it, and we'll talk to you again real soon.